What's up, y'all? Welcome to the third episode of our new series where we will be interviewing various people that work in sports. In our third interview, we will be interviewing Landon Bow. Landon Bow is a goalie for the Dallas Stars. He posted a 12-11-3 record with 3.31 goals against average and a .895 save percentage in 30 games with the Texas Stars of the American Hockey League during the 2019-2020 season. He was called up to back up Jake Oettinger in the game against the Blackhawks. Right now, he's a member of the taxi squad for the Dallas Stars. Hey, Landon, thanks for joining us. Great to have you here.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
So, your Texas, Canada aren't really close, and you were born in Canada, which allows for some people not to be able to get a good view of Canada. So, I think of Canada just a place with big snow, a lot of snow, and people that love hockey. So, what surprised you most about Texas?
Well, for me, Texas, like especially right now that I'm looking out my window, I'm starting to see some snow, so it's kind of a little taste of back home. I know I wasn't really expecting that when I came down here, um, but I just like the weather's great here. I like just being from Edmonton, Alberta. Like people always say, Alberta and Texas are very similar, kind of like more ranchy farmland, and that's just I don't know, kind of felt like just like a hotter home to me.
Yeah, speaking of snow, it's like the first time in 9 years. Were you surprised about how some Texans like? For me, I got to build a snowman. Were you surprised, like, if you saw people on social media posting about snow for the first time?
Well, I'm not really surprised. I've been in Texas here for the last, I think this is my fifth year, and every time there's snow, it's usually just like a light dusting on the ground, and you see everyone's like, "Oh, I got to make a snowman," and it's just like a dirt pile on the ground with some sticks in it. But this time, everyone got to kind of experience the full effect of the snow, so you could actually kind of do some fun activities. But everything else with the infrastructure not being completely ready for it kind of sucked, but it's fun for people to experience, I guess, the snow for the first time.
Yeah, it's crazy experiencing it. This is the first time I've experienced this type of snow in a long time. So going back to what Kevin said, you backed up Jake Oettinger in the game against the Chicago Blackhawks. Are there major attitude differences before a game in the locker room between the NHL and AHL?
Not overly. Everybody knows you're going out there to do a job. Everybody can be all kind of like fun and games depending on just like how you are. Like there's some guys that are just loose all the time. They can just as soon as they get out on the ice, they're good to go and they can just have a lot of fun before. But other guys, they got their own headphones in. Everybody has a game day ritual, whether that's just the way you tape your sticks or the way you get dressed or all the different types of warm-ups. Uh, I know there's more people that are like very strict with it. It's like they got to keep it the exact same. Otherwise, it's a lot tougher for them just kind of mentally. So even in the A too, like you got all these younger kids. So there's a little bit more like I guess fun in a way as because they don't have a strict routine yet. They're still kind of like figuring it out as they go. And here everybody's pretty dialed in and they know what they need to do to be ready.
Yeah, so speaking of rituals, do you have a ritual and are you very strict or is it just depending on the day?
For me, I have a stretching routine I like to go through in a certain way. I like to do my warm ups beforehand, and then I'll always tape my game day stick before. Um, I do that, and I'm trying to think what else. And I guess like subconsciously, I also get dressed. Like if I'm tying my skates up, I always do my left one before my right one. Like that's not something I know what's going on. It's just something I've kind of noticed. Like, oh wow, I do this every single time. So that's kind of a little quirk I have. But yeah, I don't have any crazy pregame rituals. Just kind of the regular stuff to get warm and get ready.
That's really cool about, or you didn't even notice about the left skate. And then shifting a little bit, has there been a coach along your journey that you believe has been the most impactful on you and a person and a player?
Well, I think one of my coaches that like really helped me was when I was heading into pro for the first time. I was playing down in the East Coast League with the Idaho Steelheads, and the coach we had there is Neil Graham. He was, I believe, like 34, 35 at the time, so one of the younger coaches I've had since I was playing my minor hockey days. And I think he helped make the transition a lot smoother. Like the communication there with him was awesome. He liked to have fun. He kept things loose. And last season, when there was all the drama up here in Dallas, and our head coach from Austin moved up, he jumped in as the head coach down there, and it was like super exciting as a just being a player for him before, just knowing what he brings and the kind of person he is. And it's guys like that that you just want to see them succeed, and you want to see them just keep climbing that ladder.
So, what was it like right before the shutdown? So you were able to experience some games with them, right? Because it was pretty early with that coaching change.
Yeah, like yeah, with the coaching change, like I remember we were down in Austin, and we got to the rink, and we're like, hey, we're not sure what's going to happen today. Nobody told anybody of anything. We ended up finding out in a meeting about the same time we would have normally started practice. So it was kind of like a shock to everybody to just kind of, you don't usually see transitional moves like that very often. So we were just kind of all uh, just kind of taken back by it and had to like reevaluate the situation. But that's that's pro sports for you. You never know what's going to happen day to day, especially the world we're living in now. But no, I think it was a good change. It was exciting to see everybody get promoted that was from below. So it's just good to see that for guys.
That's a great thing to hear.
Do you model your goaltending after anybody?
Well, I was always a big fan of Carey Price in Montreal when I was a lot younger. Um, it's kind of the reason I was a Montreal fan, switching over from an Oilers fan, and I'd like to try and play like him, but the way he plays is so structurally sound. It's like I'm not quite there with my game yet. So there's not really a goalie I'd say I like one for one would match up and say this is me. Like I kind of take a little bit from just different goalies for sure, but I don't really have a style that matches up with a specific NHL goalie.
So, at the AHL and NHL level, are practices more intense than they were in juniors?
Um, well now it's more of a business. You need to get results, otherwise um, you're not making playoffs. You're losing out on money, and it's like you're not going to be around for a long time, especially now that we're getting paid. Back in junior, um, like I played in Swift Current, Saskatchewan, and we just didn't have as many games as they do up here. So the practices were like a little different because as a younger kid, you're just trying to like just get your feet wet playing junior hockey. You're going living on your own for the first time in your life, so you got to learn that. You have to be able to manage that with hockey. But once you get to pro, they're expecting you to kind of have an idea what's going on, and they know like they don't have time to always be doing rebuilds, especially if you're not like especially getting paid, and if you're not going to produce, they're going to make you work until you're able to get to that level.
How was your first professional practice? Was it a eye-opening experience?
Well, yeah, coming from junior, like the jump from junior to the pro level. I remember my first NHL development camp, and that's just with all the drafted guys and top prospects, and just the skill level there compared to junior it was a big jump. And then once you start getting into camp, when you got all these full-time NHLers, guys who've been around for a long time, you see what makes them so special, day in and day out. And it's kind of intimidating, and like even today it still is, trying to get into that lineup full time at some point. But no, yeah, it was a lot of fun for me because you get to see all these people on TV growing up, and just being able to go out there and be like, oh, I stopped a puck from Jamie Benn today, and just little things like that that you're always going to have with you.
Do you have any interesting hobbies?
Hobbies. I do like to golf. Being in Texas kind of helps out with that. Been able to golf more and more, so my game has gotten significantly better. I'm still not that great. I'm about a mid 80s shooter. Um, but you know, it's fun. You're able to go out and practice a lot more. And another hobby I picked up was during quarantine. I forget, I think I was walking around White Rock Lake, and I saw a guy fishing, and I'm like, you know what? I want to try fishing. So within 24 hours, I think I had a fishing license, a rod, whole box of tackle, and I was just so excited to go out there and try it. And that's something I'm not very good at still. I can't really figure it out. It's kind of hit or miss if I'm ever gonna find the fish. But it's always just like a nice activity. Go enjoy the weather and just be outside.
That's a really cool thing about quarantine and fishing. Um, have what's the biggest fish you ever caught?
The biggest one I caught was like maybe a 15-inch bass, and so not the biggest, but it was just exciting getting the big fish on the line for me. Uh, like I think I've only caught maybe like 10 to 15 fish, and they're usually just little tiny ones that you just kind of throw back, and you don't really. It's not as big of an as sorry, not as big of a deal. But when you catch one that's like you can kind of hold and you can hold it with two hands, just it's just exciting.
That's really cool. So have you ever decided to maybe you're not there yet. Have you ever decided like I want to catch one and cook it?
Yeah, actually, we ended up, or I guess I ended up catching one, and it was a crappie. And I didn't mean to catch crappie. I was trying to do bass fishing, so that's the kind of skill level I'm at where I can't catch what I want to catch sometimes. Um, and it was big enough, and I remember taking it home to my girlfriend, and because I would always bring out just like a little bucket of ice just in case I caught something big enough that I could eat. And I came home and she's like, "Oh, nothing again, I bet." And it's like, "Yep, nothing." And I pulled this thing out behind her while she was working, freaked her out a little bit, and she's like, "I have no idea how to clean that." And so it's like, you're gonna have to figure it out. So it was about a half an hour process trying to fillet this like just little crappie, and I think I made a big mess, a lot of blood all over the place, because I didn't bleed the fish, I didn't do anything you're supposed to do, and it just made the whole process harder. But it was a fun experience for me to get to do that, and I'd like to do it again. Maybe go out some saltwater fishing, catch something a little bit bigger. But yeah, that's something we'll have to look at once this COVID's all done.
Yeah, I've definitely done it for Boy Scouting, and we fish in a stock lake, so everyone catches something. But a requirement for Merit Badges, we have to do it. And the first time I did it, I was like freaking out because they're like, "You're supposed to do this." So definitely, it's an acquired taste.
Yeah, exactly. Something that you're just not used to doing every single day, hunting your own food. But I think it's a fun skill to learn, right? Um, you never know when you're going to need it down the line.
Yeah, definitely. And then, what's your favorite sport to watch in the off season?
In the off season, well, I like watching the NFL during the season. We get usually pretty big into fantasy. Like every year we always have a league, so that's something I was never really a fan of. I wasn't a big football guy, and then I came down here and they're like, "Hey, you want to play fantasy?" And I was like, "I guess so." Try it out just to see what it was about. I think within 2 weeks I got red zone. I was watching games all Sunday, and it's just kind of taken over my life in that way. It's just funny how like as soon as you get into something that like you have some kind of like backing behind, you throw a little bit of money into, you're like, you just invest so much more time into it.
Yeah, definitely. Austin, I've never been able to beat Austin in fantasy.
I spend too much time on that sometimes.
Yeah, there's just so many little things you can pick apart and try to find anything about any guy.
Yeah, you're definitely
You
looking
never
for
do too
that.
much research.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're definitely looking for that guy, like a quarterback. Like I accidentally was able to pick up Patrick Mahomes his first year.
that's a steal.
Yeah. So have you have you beside outside of fantasy, have you picked a favorite team or do you just watch?
Well, I like Drew Brees. Um, that's the one guy. It's like you kind of have the respect for him for the kind of career he's had. Um, but now that things look like they're coming to an end in New Orleans, it's going to be a tough transition there. And before that, I was a Seahawks fan, like as loose of a term as fan as you could have. Just like my family, that's like the only like NFL team we could really travel down to see. So we'd kind of go to Vancouver, head across the border to Seattle, and try to catch a game. And so yeah, they're love watching them on TV. Love what Russell Wilson can do, and he's when he's at the top of his game. But I'd say overall, probably a New Orleans fan.
So you're talking about like from taking that trip. So did you get to go to a game live, or has it just been on the TV?
It's mostly been on the TV. Been able to go to one game, but I was like really, really young, so that was exciting for me. Uh, I wish I could go again now that I'm older and I can have like a little bit more fun, a little bit more into the entire atmosphere. Um, but that's something hopefully I can get to. I really wanted to head to a Cowboys game this year, but just with everything going on, it was kind of hard to like trust myself to go out there and still be safe with everything.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. Yeah, I've that's really cool that you got to go when you're young because I just hear stories about how crazy the noise is.
Oh yeah, like the fun thing about that city is whenever there was a game, it was everybody like I know in Texas too, game day, everybody's jerseyed up. It's like that's the only thing going on that day. You couldn't even tell what's going on. Um, and yeah, I remember I ended up playing in Seattle later on in my junior career, my last year, and we had a neighbor. And after every time they won, he'd have some fireworks firing off, and so that was always kind of fun to see.
That's so
Are you
cool.
happy that they got a expansion team for the NHL?
Yeah, I'm really excited because playing there for even just a half a season I was there, I loved everything about it, and I think an NHL team would do really really well there. Um, and I think that'd be a place down the line that you'd want to end up going. It's a little cooler, but you don't have to worry about too much snow, and I think just everything about the city was just a ton of fun.
Well, thank you, Landon, for joining us. That's really cool about the city of Seattle. I definitely want to go there someday. Um, but thank you for joining us again. We hope you have a great season this year. Also, everyone to make sure, Landon, do you have any social media accounts that people can follow you at?
Yeah, I'm just on Twitter. I want to make sure I get this right because I did change my handle because it was a little clunky before. Yeah, it's just at Landon Bow on Twitter. And yeah, I
Okay.
don't have Instagram, as that would kill too much time for me.
Yeah. You definitely have to watch when you're on Twitter, Instagram.
Oh yeah.
But so everyone, go follow Landon on Twitter, and then be on the lookout for more interviews from Outsiders Opinions.